Welcome back. In the past tutorial, you were learning about 2D lists. So we've learned all about lists. We now learn about 2D lists and how we can access individual index items within those lists. And now I'm going to delete all this because we no longer need that. We're going to look at actual card games now. So you've got the idea from looking at friends' characters. And you can see here we've got a giant two-dimensional list. There's obviously a list which loads of other stuff fits inside of because there are brackets corresponding to each other at the beginning and the end. And then inside of it, each individual item is a list. So you can see there's a comma between these two mini lists here. And they're also lists because they have commas inside of them separating out what is clearly a string with the letters AC and an integer with the number 1. So obviously just going back over it, strings are characters, they don't really have a numeric value, and integers do have a numeric value. So we can do some maths with this and we can add it to other things. So if I want to access at the moment deck template, let's just call it deck template. And I put some square brackets there. If I want to access the third item, I put 2, obviously, because this is card number 0, card number 1, card number 2. So, because we start with 0 in lists. I get AH1. If I want deck underscore template 2 0, I get the name of the card, which is the Ace of Hearts, AH, etc., etc. So, what if I wanted to draw a card randomly from the deck? Well, I can do that by using random number generation. So, before I do anything there, I'm going to just press enter a few times above the deck. Oh yeah, also with replit, it's quite cool. You can actually just hover over to the left and you can minimize the size of that. It kind of hides all the lines that are taken up by a huge list, I guess. It's really useful because I can hide it and I can just focus on the rest of my code. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to import a thing called a module. Modules are whole sort of like blocks of Python code with loads of interesting functions that do different things, and we don't need every single module to be packaged into a program we make. So the creators of Python, and with sort of other programming languages as well, keep these modules as part of the main build of the development environment, but give you the option whether you want to import it into your actual program that you're making, because it does reduce on memory and it makes it a bit more efficient not to have every single module packaged in with a program that doesn't necessarily need them. So we're going to import the random module. So we import the word random. So that will import something into my program now that will allow my program to generate random numbers. You can import loads of things like import sys, right? Which is system for Windows. You won't need to do that obviously in Replit, it's online. And there's like a math module. There's loads of different modules you can get hold of, and they'll do different things. But you only need them if they're going to be relevant to your actual program. Because otherwise you're packaging in loads of extra code that's really unnecessary for what you're doing. Okay, so now I've got a random number generation module. I can print deck template, and instead of saying like 3 0, well, let's see what that does first. That obviously provides me with the Ace of Spades. So the Ace of Spades, there we go. I put too many extra brackets there. I'd need to choose the name or the actual index of another card altogether. What if there's a way to do it randomly? There is. So instead of typing 4 in there, I type random, because I've just imported the random number generation module, dot rand int between 0, comma, and 51. Because there are 52 cards in a deck. We know the first card is the number 0. So 51 stands for the 52nd item in that list. Because remember, starting at 0 means that there are actually 52 items, but the 52nd item is termed 51. If I do that now, I get the Queen of Clubs, I get the 2 of Hearts, I get the 4 of Clubs, the 5 of Clubs, King of Spades, and so on and so forth. If I remove the number 51 and I just go for the number 3, I get the Ace of Clubs, Ace of Diamonds, Ace of Spades again, Ace of Diamonds, Ace of Hearts. So I'm getting 0, 1, 2 and 3 just between those 4 cards there. So we can increase or limit the scope of how many random numbers we're generating. And obviously that will now use a random number instead of me typing in the index of this big list and choosing a number from that index. So I've got a little bit more choice now over what number is being generated. There's not really any point to doing random number generation there because you've only got 0 and 1, but we can just give it a go just to show you what happens. The rand int 0 and 1. So I either get the name of a card or its number, like its actual score, its value. Instead of 3, because they're all going to be 1, aren't they? So I might just put 51. 4, 1, 10. Jack of Diamonds, 10. A Jack of Spades, a Jack of Hearts, King of Hearts, a 1. So it kind of just messes it around a bit. It's not really that useful for gameplay like that though, so we'll just go for item 0. Alright. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use that later on in the game to create 2 random cards given to each player in their hand. But I think that's all we've got time for with regards to random numbers.